6 months ago, I was living in a storage unit eating canned beans. Today, I know the truth. My wife didn't just cheat on me. She was
6 months ago, if someone had told me I'd be living inside a storage unit, sleeping on a squeaky metal cot, and eating canned beans with a spoon because I couldn't afford a can opener, I would have laughed. Not because it was funny, because it sounded impossible. Back then, I had a wife named Jessica, 2 kids who alternated between loving me and ignoring me, and a supervisor job at Henderson Lumber Mill that I held for 18 years. My life wasn't glamorous, but it was steady, predictable, familiar. Now I know familiar doesn't mean safe, and steady doesn't mean loyal. Everything started unraveling in April. I felt off all morning, like my subconscious knew something my brain wasn't ready to admit. I left work early, pulled into my driveway, and saw a shiny black Cadillac parked there like it belonged. Derek Thornton's Cadillac, my boss. A man obsessed with expensive things, cars, suits, women who weren't his wife. Inside, I climbed the stairs of my own home and opened my own bedroom door to find Derek with my wife, wrapped in sheets that still smelled like us. The look he gave me wasn't guilt. It was annoyance, like I'd interrupted a business meeting. He told me we could talk at the office Monday, as if scheduling my heartbreak was part of his calendar. Jessica didn't even pretend to be ashamed. She looked relieved, freed, when I asked how long. She answered so casually it made my stomach twist, long enough that it doesn't matter. Then she told me what I had apparently been too naive to see. I wasn't enough, not ambitious enough, not wealthy enough. Not enough for her dreams of a bigger, shinier life with a man like Derek. By Monday morning, I was fired. Budget cuts, they said. Strange, since Derek had spent that entire month bragging about record profits. A week later, Jessica hired a high-powered attorney who specialized in erasing fathers. The custody hearing was a theatrical performance where I was the villain. One punch to a garage door in frustration, 3 weeks after finding them, became evidence I was violent. Years of coaching Tyler's teams and helping Emma build rockets didn't matter. Judge Foster, who had a suspicious vacation home on a judge's salary, signed everything without blinking. Jessica got the kids. I got supervised visits with a social worker writing down my breathing patterns. My descent was fast, couch surfing, sleeping behind Walmart, eventually scraping together $89 to rent unit 247 at Safekeep Storage. The woman at the desk pretended not to notice I was obviously moving in. The night guard, Carl, pretended not to notice either. I showered in the employee bathroom, lived on dented cans, and tried not to fall apart. One night, going through boxes Jessica threw into the unit, I found a dusty brown briefcase with my name written in my late Uncle Henry's handwriting. Henry, eccentric, brilliant, paranoid Henry, had died 8 months earlier. People laughed at him for rambling about corruption and government lies. I used to smile politely, thinking he was harmlessly strange. The briefcase had $60,000 inside, and a handwritten note. Jason, this is travel money. The real fortune is waiting at this address. Don't trust anyone connected to Henderson. Finish what your father started. Uncle Henry, my father died in a mill accident decades ago, or so we'd been told. I stared at the cash for minutes, feeling a mixture of fear and possibility. At the bottom of the briefcase was a plane ticket to Boise. My life in the storage unit felt like a dead end. So I made a choice. I packed what little I had, thanked Carl for pretending not to see me, and got on that flight. The address in Idaho led to a rundown shed behind a 70s ranch house in a microscopic town called Garden Valley. The mailbox still said Mitchell, my family name. Before I could knock, a woman named Donna appeared, built strong from decades of lifting more than gossip. You must be Jason, she said, handing me a shed key like we were continuing a conversation started years ago. Henry told me everything, said you'd show up. Also said not to trust anyone driving a black Cadillac. Inside the shed, beneath floorboards and behind filing cabinets, I discovered Henry's secret, an underground crawlspace packed with decades of documents, recordings, photographs, and evidence. Evidence proving Derek and his friends weren't just corrupt, they'd been orchestrating a criminal enterprise for nearly 30 years. There were fake safety reports, bribed officials, hidden bank accounts, payments to Jessica going back a decade long before we married. tape recordings of her talking with Derek about manipulating me, and worse tapes showing they deliberately destroyed my father's reputation by falsifying maintenance logs after he tried to expose dangerous practices at the mill.